So I know everybody's looking for a video from me. And this isn't the video you're looking for. This is just a video to let you know that I don't know how to do the video that I'm going to do eventually. Just to let everyone know, on January 23rd at about 5 o'clock in the morning, my mother passed away. She passed away alone on a ventilator in a fucking hospital, because that's the way our world works right now. I'm gonna hate myself forever for not being by her side. The last thing my mother would have wanted was to die in the fucking hospital. If I would have known my mother was going to go in the direction that she went in, I swear to God, I would have let her die on her couch and I would have been sitting right next to her. Shit progressed so fast. I'm not going to get into all the details now. I would really like to do video and break down exactly what happened. I can't do it right now. I just want to make a video and let everyone know. Me, physically, I'm over whatever I had regards to the last video. But whatever that was made my whole family sick. I was sick, my brother was sick, my mother got sick, my sister and her husband, my two nieces, my whole family was sick. And it was all COVID. But everyone recovered. My mother, while she had COVID, she did not die of COVID. My mother had streptococcus pneumonia, I believe is what they called it. And she got this before she got the COVID. In fact, the first thing the doctor said when they evaluated her in the hospital, of course they take your loved one in the hospital and they say, we'll call you. You know, your mother's on life support and she's critical, but you can't be here, but we'll call you and let you know what's going on. This is the way things work right now. She had COVID, but her body had cleared the COVID. She was still considered a COVID patient, but her body had dealt with the COVID and it was on its way out. My mother had streptococcus pneumonia, who the doctors can't tell us how exactly she got that. But I believe it's from wearing a mask for 8 hours a day on her job for 4 days a week. And she bought special masks, multi-layered, because she was so paranoid about getting COVID. And no, she was not vaccinated. And her doctor told her to not get vaccinated because many of you know from years ago, my mother's a heart patient. And they were very worried about blood clots. So, without getting into the whole story, see, I don't know how to make this video. The bottom line is my mother passed away on the 23rd of January, and there was a big to-do in my family about having an autopsy done, because my mother did not want to be cut on ever again after her heart surgery. But my argument to my family was, my mom's already dead, and I want to know what the fuck happened. So in doing the autopsy, they found that Even though she was in intensive care, she was on a ventilator because she was having trouble breathing because she had pneumonia, which led to an infection in her blood, which is why she became incoherent, which is the whole reason for us getting her to the hospital. When she started really not acting like herself, me and my sister, we had to make a decision. Something's not right, and we don't have the medical knowledge or anything. We can't deal with what we saw. My mother would have been fucking pissed at us for calling an ambulance. But we didn't think we had a choice. We couldn't deal with what we were looking at. She had a blood infection that arose from the pneumonia. She had to be put on a ventilator. But the last update my sister and I got from the hospital 5 hours before my mom died was she was doing okay. She was on the ventilator. They were giving her antibiotics for the blood infection. They were trying to get that under control. She had been having blood pressure issues. They put in a central line and a couple other things to help rapidly administer blood pressure medication and all this. The last report was that she was resting comfortably and everything was 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. My sister gets the call. We need to get up to the hospital because her heart stopped. Just getting in the fucking hospital. The people at SLU Hospital, the security, are such fucking pricks. Getting through security and getting up to the 4th floor where my mom was such an ordeal. Every single one of these fucking people should be fired. My God, the unprofessionalism, the disconnect, they just act like they don't give a shit that your loved one is up there dying. By the time we all got up to the 4th floor, they had already finished working on her. They said her heart stopped. They didn't know why. We ordered the autopsy. Come to find out there was a blood clot in her lungs. I forgot what the technical term was. Aortic, it was a blood clot. That caused her heart to stop. Now, my mom was already a heart patient, and she had a slew of other health problems. She was a pain patient. She dealt cards at the casino for 30 years. Both of her rotator cuffs were torn up. She needed surgery on that. She lived in a lot of pain. Oh, plus her hard-headedness after she got her heart valve transplant 5 years ago. She never stopped smoking. And the heart valve was only supposed to last 10 years because it was a tissue valve. So she cut 5 years off her life, possibly just smoking like a chimney the whole time. And I can't blame my mom. That's just who she was. You couldn't tell her not to smoke. She was going to do what she was going to do. It's just a shitty bunch of circumstances. No. This all happened so suddenly. I mean, she went... What was my last video? On the 14th or 12th or whatever it was of January, we were all sick. Of course, I was checking on my mom every day. I mean, I thought we all had like the worst headache. We were just in bed. We're checking on each other. Hey, do you need a soda? Do you need some soup? Do you need some water? Do you need some Sprite? at some point in those next couple days, something happened to my mom to where she just became incoherent. She wasn't herself anymore. Her body was shutting down. When I saw that, I immediately called my sister. I said, "You need to get here because Mom's not right. There's something else going on." My sister came with the Sprite. She came with the Pedialyte or whatever the hell you're supposed to give people that are dehydrated. We sat here for hours trying to get my mom to revive a little bit, try to give her some fluid, try to give her some food, and we couldn't. And by 2 o'clock in the morning, we knew this isn't getting any better. We're either gonna. And she was at the point where she couldn't stand up. We couldn't get her in the car to take her to the hospital that she would have wanted to go to. One thing I know is she didn't want to go to Barnes. So SLU Hospital was the only other hospital that city EMS would take her to, because she was considered critical. I'll make a better video later. You're just going to have to give me some time. We just had her memorial this past Saturday, which gave me myself such a bad anxiety attack that I was puking and throwing up and diarrhea. I mean, I was a fucking wreck. I had to leave my mom's memorial because I couldn't. There was hundreds of people there. My sister called it a celebration of life because that's what my mom would have wanted. But it was so loud and there was so many fucking people. And I just got so overwhelmed. Anyway, her urn and all of her pictures and everything. This all happened at my sister's house, which is 100 miles away. But she's got a lot more space than we had here at this place, so that's where so all that stuff is coming back here. We're going to have a huge memorial on my mom's living room wall. Pictures, and I'll show you guys all that when that's all. Oh, just having a hard time trying to figure out what to do next. I'll do a better video later if I even post this video. I'd really like to go through everything that happened. I don't even think this hasn't even fully hit me yet. I'm having these little spurts, but I'm still expecting her to come walking in the door. How the fuck could this be reality? And this was all unexpected. I mean, this just happened. This just there's no plan, there's no map, there's no will, we're trying to figure all this shit out. So I've spent the past 2 weeks calling her creditors and calling and trying to shut off accounts and making sure that, because like my mom loved her home shopping network and her QVC and all this, and she's got all this stuff that's auto ordered and auto paid and all this. There's so much fucking paperwork to do because none of this was expected. This is so. And a lot of you know I was just getting over the death of my cat back on Thanksgiving. And this is something completely fucking different. Phones keep making noise. There's so much. I'll make a better video later. I'm just a fucking mess. I'm gonna need some time to. And the money, I mean, holy shit. I have to assume responsibility for my mother's mortgage, for all her bills, her utilities, everything. Because there was no successor. There was no one else on the fucking paperwork. I mean, very poor planning. There's no life insurance. There's nothing. I'm trying to figure all this out. So, I'm not doing it right now, but I'm going to start an ongoing GoFundMe for my family to get things under control. My mom would not want us to lose her house. She bought this house so that her kids could always have a place to come if there's ever in trouble. If there's like, I've been on my own since I was 18. I had to come back home a few years ago. Mom always wanted us to have a place to come in case we ran into any trouble in life. We cannot lose her house. Your mom's house is always home base, is it not? No matter what's going on in life, you can always go home. It's just me and my younger brother and my older sister, and we're just going to have to figure out how to make all this work. There was no one on the deed. My mother and my grandfather bought this building together. It's a duplex. And my grandfather passed away a couple of years ago, so my mom assumed responsibility for the mortgage. But with her gone, I don't know why she didn't put one of us on there. So, my sister has talked to lawyers. There's this whole probate thing, whatever the fuck all that means. If there's outstanding medical bills that come in, which I'm sure there will be because the greed of the fucking hospitals. She was on life support for several days. I know that's not cheap. I'm gonna need a lot of fucking help. I don't even know where to begin. That's it. I'll try to make a better video later. That's the gist of where I've been, and that's where my channel will be for the next probably year. Dealing with a lot of shit. Gotta grow the fuck up now. You got no choice. You grow up or you lose it all. That's your choice. I'll make a better one later. I just wanted everybody to know what was going on.